Welcome back to the Integration Hub, where we make sense of the connections powering your supply chain. Now, I'm your host, Grace Sharkey, and if you've ever felt like connecting your systems, automating workflows, or dealing with EDI requires a PhD in technology, well, this is the episode for you. Today, I'm joined by Jamie Royce, co-founder of MindCloud, a partner of ours here at Orderful, which is an AI-first integration platform that makes automation more accessible, more transparent, and more results-driven as ever before. Now, together, we're talking about how to orchestrate your tech stack so that data flows seamlessly, manual errors disappear, and scaling your business doesn't come with growing pains. Now, whether you're a seasoned technologist or someone who's living in spreadsheets, this conversation will show you how MindCloud and Orderful are simplifying integrations and setting the stage for companies for any size to compete at the very highest level. Stay tuned next for my interview with Jamie. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. We have another excellent partner for us to share with you, and that is MindCloud. With us is Jamie. Jamie, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the audience and introduce MindCloud to them as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Grace. Really happy to be here. MindCloud is an integration platform as a service. So integration means bring separate things together as one. So we take all of a company's tech stack and we connect them. We orchestrate the flow of data between them, and we make it so you can have a seamless flow of data across all of your platforms. So the company was founded in 2022, just a few years ago. It was entirely created from the ground up in the era of AI. So it is an AI first, AI native platform. Everything you see, which I'll show you a demo in a minute, behind the scenes, it's all driven by AI prompts that are helping to optimize things, make the workflows run better, suggest patterns to build things better, and help you write code if you need to do custom code blocks. So the whole goal of MindCloud when I started this with my co-founders in 2022 was to make the incredible technologies that are out there available to everybody. And the people that don't commonly use them, small and medium-sized businesses that are used to doing things by hand or just getting by with spreadsheets and processing data because that's all they know, they're never going to compete with the Amazons of the world who have every single possible thing fully automated so that there's not to the point where you can order a single pen and have it delivered to your front door within an hour. I mean, like if the level of automation and technology that is in those big enterprise, huge companies was available to everybody, you could really help companies to compete on an international scale. And our purpose is to bring that technology to everybody so you can. And also with this wave happening right now, we make companies AI ready by wrapping all their software into a layer that can talk to each other. And AI, for any tool that you might use, it has to be able to talk to your platform. So if it's not already standardized and in an agreed upon way to communicate across platforms, you're not going to be able to plug in an awesome AI tool that's going to say, hey, tell me what my the best stock that I should restock on because of the inventory from my ERP based on the marketing, deals that are on the lines. And, if you have all your systems standardized on one layer that can all talk to each other already, you can plug AI in and really make it so that you could compete in this and not get drowned by the tidal wave of technology that's happening right now.
You use the word orchestration, and I think that is like the key word of where I see SaaS across all industries right now, because you're right. AI is big. People hear that term. They want to apply it to their operations. Just like you hear a symphony, right? Or you hear a wonderful piece at a movie and you wonder how's that put together. But I'm glad that you touch on the fact that it's the orchestration of all of these different parts and pieces, all of these sounds that come together to make that overall platform work. And it's much more than just saying this is what I want and this is how I get there. And so I'm happy that you touched on that. And we're gonna, I think, get into a lot of that today as well. But I'd love for our audience to learn kind of why this partnership is so important for us here at Orderful, for you over at MindCloud, and especially to see kind of this action of how you're orchestrating all of this and how EDI plays from your end too.
Yeah, EDI is, as anybody listening to this knows, one of the most complex, detailed, technically demanding technologies out there. And it's unfortunately not going away. It's like the huge, massive ship that, if you're not going to steer the Walmarts and the Home Depots of the world to just switch everything over to APIs, maybe down the road a little bit, but there's so much that's ingrained in the world with EDI that we need to really make it easy for companies to integrate everything else. And with this partnership, you've got Orderful that makes it easy to deal with EDI. And then you've got MindCloud, who allows you to talk with any of your other systems. And you can take any information from those EDI files and have that trigger things in any other software, whether it's loading your orders into NetSuite or synchronizing inventory updates across your marketplaces based on data that came in from an EDI file. That's what we help with. So it's really a nice partnership because we both have the same purpose of making the technology in our industry simple for our customers. So I'm really proud that we're partners. We already have some collaboration we're in the middle of. So yeah, we're grateful for it.
Well, let's run through the system a little bit too, if we can, because we've got a really great a technologist that watched the show, big fans on Reddit who want to see how all this works, and then we'll dive into some of the benefits. So, can you show us from your perspective, kind of what that results of this orchestration looks like, and where we've been able to work with you to showcase that ease of use in the EDI sector?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to just share my screen here. Give me one moment. All right, so I'll zoom in a little bit. So this is kind of a standard set of EDI files that Orderful customers would likely need. You got your 810s, you got your 846s for inventory, you've got your 850s, the purchase orders, etc. So all of these need to sync with NetSuite in this case. So this is an example. I'm going to show you a demo of flowing data from Orderful from an 850 file directly into NetSuite and all the different steps that are that could be in that process. And I'll kind of walk you through that here. So from the top to the bottom, so we run workflows vertically. So everything starts at the top. Workflows can be scheduled either on a timer, like every 10 minutes, or on a trigger based, which means some external event would call this workflow through what's called a webhook, and we would provide a webhook. I'll just show you how simple it is to create a webhook. You just select your trigger, choose webhook. It generates this URL right here. You just copy that into your external platform, and that will trigger this workflow to run. So it's very easy to set up webhooks and connect other systems. I just have this set to run every 10 minutes. You can have it run anytime you want. You could pick exact times. You could even tell AI, I want this to run every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And if you don't want to, type it in, you can just tell AI what you want it to do. Awesome. I've updated the schedule to run every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Blah, blah, blah. Good. So like every one of our steps is driven by AI. So you can do it by hand. You can also leverage AI. If I wanted to, I could just use this prompt at the bottom to build the workflow out. And in the very near future, we're going to have entire workflows driven by voice prompted AI generation. So you'll say, hey, I want to connect Orderful and NetSuite, and I want it to sync my purchase orders. So our AI will read from the history of all workflows that have done that, and it will propose a template that you can see that would look similar to this to get you started. Anyway, that's coming very soon. But right now, there's over 40 different prompts that are running behind the scenes to make things optimized and suggest things to you and dynamically handle how we run these workflows to make sure that there's always enough resources available and things like that. I'll show you more about that in a moment. So here is Orderful. I'm going to get the transactions from a Polar bucket. So you got the connections on the right. You'll see I'm going to filter it to a specific business. And then you would see the data on the right directly from Orderful. So that's an EDI file translated into a easier to read format. So step 2 just shows a custom code block. So this is a mapping that's just showing the data on Orderful should map to the ID on NetSuite. So this particular customer doesn't actually have many Orderful trading partners. They have very set numbers. So they just put those right in here. Whenever they add more, they just add the ID on Orderful side and the ID on the NetSuite side. And that's how this customer wants it to run. It's an example of a custom code block. Then down here, it's going to prepare the orders. So now it's just going to loop through each of the orders that are available and make sure that all the data is ready in a format for NetSuite. So I'm going to show you here. This was built entirely with AI. It is JavaScript code. So if you want to write the code yourself, you can just go in and type it in there. But this prepares all the fields that NetSuite sales order needs to get created. And it's all coming from earlier steps on this workflow. So you can see just an idea of that. If you're not a developer, you won't really know what this is. You don't have to. So you can just look at the output. And if you want it to change, let's say I want to add a random number that is both text and numbers, and I want it to be 10 characters long, and I want to use that as some kind of ID. So I can just tell AI, add another field called random number that is 10 characters or numbers and is random, and return this. Okay, so I don't know how to write that in code. I'm just going to tell AI what I want it to do. It's now writing the code, basically looking at what's already there. It's the same as if you copied this into ChatGPT, wrote the prompt, got the output from ChatGPT, and pasted it back in here. So you'll see in a second, this is writing the code to update that. And let's just do that one more time. Of course, in the live demo, the one thing doesn't work right. So create a random number and that is good. All right, so create a random number that is 10 digits long and return this. All right. Here you go. So now you got this random number that got generated. So now let's say you don't like that one and you want it to be alphanumeric. So you want some text and you want some numbers in there. You can say, change this to be alphanumeric instead of a number. Change this random number. All right, so let's see what it does. So you can go back and forth with it. You don't have to know how to write code, but it just generated this random number. Every time I run this now, I would have a random number. You see that it's different now. I'll run it again and I have a different one. So it's that simple to add code that might be, if you were to write that from scratch, it might take you, a few minutes if you know JavaScript to write out that exact random number generator. But with this, you can just tell AI what you want it to do. It writes the code and it outputs it instantly for you. I'll give you one other AI example. One of our customers needed MailChimp and MailChimp to connect into NetSuite. Okay, so MailChimp is very common, but I had no idea MailChimp has over 400 things that you could do with their API. It's crazy how many things that can be done with their API. So I took their API documentation. I went directly into our app builder, which I'll give you a sneak peek over here. And I just went to this feature that we have to auto-generate the app from their API documentation. So all I did was drop in that website URL, which is their API documentation. And then our AI ingestion tool went through that and figured out what are all the API actions. And if you look on the left, it created every single one of those automatically. If I was to hand write and configure 400 endpoints for MailChimp, that would have been 3 months. And who knows? I don't need all those, but maybe a customer needs the list member tags. And because we're using AI, you have instantly, that took 30 minutes, and instantly 400 endpoints on MailChimp were available. You can see here, it even included the parameters that need to get sent in the API. It included the filters that are available. You can see here the exact endpoint that is per their documentation. This is how MindCloud has a major edge against our competitors. And, everybody should go this direction if they're not already. A lot of our competitors are built on 10 or 20-year-old technology platforms that just have an AI bow on top. And now they're AI first. No, they're not. They just have like this little frosting with a couple candles, and they're called AI. But the actual cake is 20-year-old technology that is very rigid, and you could never do something like this. Because MindCloud was built from the ground up with AI, I could drop in an API doc and say, go build me the app. And then half an hour later, go to the customer and say, let's go. We got all 400 MailChimp endpoints available. Which one do you want to connect to? Which is pretty crazy.
It really is. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's, I'm known probably in the logistics space for being this like tech geek and loving this type of technology. But I always tell people I'm a tech geek from a user capability standpoint, right? Like I do not know how to code, but watching that, I could do this. And I think that's what's so exciting about working with someone like MindCloud and who's also looking at solving these problems in such a user-friendly way. I hear all the time from Orderful customers as well as like, I am not a technologist, but boy, do I get to go home to my family and act like I'm a technologist, right? And I think that goes into, and I'd love for you to dive into this as well. But I think that's the why this partnership is so great, because a lot of the challenges that we're talking about when it comes to like bringing everything together um involves technology I think that people aren't fully used to using. But we talked about this prior, that you guys are focused on results, right? You lead with results as a service. How do you help companies work with companies to make sure that results happens, knowing that there's probably a lot of people behind the scenes who have no idea how to program, develop, etc.?
Yeah, it's really a great question. With so much technology, so many apps, so many AI agents that people are using, you have incredible tools at your disposal. But if you don't know how to get to the end of the line with those tools, you're still stuck with a bunch of tools or a really fancy platform that has all these bells and whistles, but it can't actually get the result of the order exactly the way you want it in NetSuite, in the exact subsidiary, with the right channels noted, with the blahs and the blees, and exactly how you want it. If you can't get that, you're still, wow, you're just with a big monthly subscription bill for all these SaaS platforms. So we have three main products in MindCloud. The one that is the most popular is our white glove integration product. That is, the customer doesn't know technology. He just knows what he wants. He says, I need to get my orders from these EDI files into NetSuite, and they need to be there on time every day. They're not a technologist. They don't have a team of people that can do it for them. They just come to us and say, that's what I want. We give them an extremely transparent price, a yearly fee, and it's a result-based fee. It is, we are going to do that. And then we have a very systematic approach to extract from our customers what they actually need, because I'm sure anybody listening to this is aware that if you try to build something for someone who doesn't know what they want, you end up putting a second
Yes.
floor on the house that's only supposed to have one floor, and it's the wrong walls and the doors in the wrong place. So we follow the construction pattern very closely, where the first calls are purely just design, scoping, nailing down what they really want, and getting them to sign off on a design document like a blueprint. Once they know what they want and they've signed off, we'll figure out how to do it. They don't need to be technical. They just say, this is what I want, and then we'll propose how we're going to do it. And they say, yep, that's good. We build it. We have them verify that we did it how they wanted. They sign off on it. We go live with them and we get the result. And there's several checkpoints along the way for them to verify we are getting the result that they intended. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's paying for a whole
Yeah.
orchestration of all their data, they don't care how it's happening. They just want to know, did it go from point A to point B in the right way? Did it land in the right buckets? Is it the right color? One of our customers earlier on switched over to us because everything his purchasing department was doing was by hand. And as they grew, it was just more and more manual data entry. And this is a very prominent AV installer
Wow.
out of Oregon. And they had an order come in. One time he told me the story when he signed up with us that somebody keyed in the wrong color. It was supposed to be blue speakers, an order of $80,000 worth of speakers that were supposed to be black, but they keyed them in as blue, and it was a B instead of a BL. And somebody manually typed, maybe they didn't have their coffee and they place in the order earlier on in the day, submit, place the order, money exchanges hands, shipment goes out, arrives at the auditorium, wrong color. $80,000, boom, a lot of waste there. So we automate the result. We help you get the result, and we automate that manual data entry so you're not stuck with those potential one key
Yeah.
disasters. One key, $80,000 for one, fat finger.
Yeah, a huge
know,
cost. I mean, especially when often I think the reason that people are looking to automate all these processes, right, is to eliminate costs. So it's not only do you want to make sure that you're doing that, but that you're setting yourself up for success as well. And I'm interested from your perspective as you are working one-on-one with customers on these challenges, especially the automation side of things. What are you hearing that most companies are struggling today with? Is it well, I would hope the ease of use is clearly defined, as we just saw, getting much easier.
yeah.
But what would you advise people who are watching today and saying, "Hey, I want to start this journey. I want to start making phone calls. I want to start researching into companies that can help me with this." What are they struggling with once they sign on and choose a vendor? What should they watch out for?
Incredible question. So important. Homework that people could do ahead of time is really define what you want. Write it down on a piece of paper and just even break it down into data flows. Data is supposed to start here and it's supposed to end there. Call it something. So when you're doing the scoping process, you can, this one is called syncing orders from NetSuite to Orderful or whatever it is. And then try to define what you think it's supposed to do. If you go into an engagement, a quoting process with that for all your different flows, even put it in a spreadsheet if you can, it's going to help so much. The more you know what you want, the easier and better price you're going to get. If you don't know what you want and you say, well, I just need to connect these two things, then you might get a bunch of flows of data that you don't actually need, and you might pay twice as much for something just because the sales rep didn't ask you all the right questions. So start by your homework, try to figure out what exactly you're trying to do. Don't write it in technical terms, just write it in plain English. I want to get my orders into my ERP, and I want to be able to keep my inventory updated, and I want to get the shipments out to my customers within an hour of the time that they're fulfilled. It's like, okay, good. That's easy. That's going to be 3 data flows. It's going to go exactly like this. We'll help you build it out. We'll make sure it matches exactly what your intended goal was. But the things to look out for are, a lot of times you end up paying three things instead of just one. You're paying for a platform,
Yep.
like integration platform. There's a lot out there. Then you're going to pay for a initial implementation fee to get it configured and set up for you. It's another cost. And then you're usually going to pay a professional services team to be your, if any adjustments need to be made, if you don't quite like it, you have to pay for different blocks of professional services. You can end up with three separate costs for something that you thought was just going to be what maybe you got the first quote and it looked really good, but then all of a sudden you're double, triple, quadruple the price because all these other hidden fees. What sets us apart, we don't have any hidden fees. It's just very transparent. You get the people plus the platform. You say what you want. We build that to your specs and you get what you want. We'll work with you until it's exactly dialed in. You don't have to just be settled for hundreds or thousands of errors on a regular daily basis. With some of our competitors, customers that switched over to us specifically switched over because they had to settle for what the platform could do instead of having the integration built exactly the way it was needed to be built. So there never was an error. You shouldn't ever have regular occurring errors. It should just know when this happens, do this. If the item doesn't exist in NetSuite, send an email to the customer and say, go create the item in NetSuite, and then we'll reprocess your order. We had several customers that said they were just kind of numbed because of the volume of error messages. And then the very important things got lost.
Yep.
So with MindCloud, you get transparency, you get unlimited flexibility on the platform itself. There's no black box. What you see on this platform, even NetSuite, all the way down to the exact code that's executing something, you could see if you wanted to. But you can look at it like what I was showing on the screen. You can just see it in a very easy to use screen where pick the fields that you want. Okay, good. I got the fields that I want. And now filter it by the PO number. Okay, that seems pretty simple. Filter it by the PO number and then click run. And then you get your results. And if it's not the way you want it, you can change the filter. Pick a different field and say, okay, I want to search for something else. And then put that something else here. So it's very much user-friendly. But if you need to, I'll show you an example of all the way down to writing the raw code with NetSuite. So if you need to, you can go in and write raw code and have it do exactly without any, there's unlimited flexibility. If you can type it into the screen in NetSuite, you could actually do that same thing on our platform. So with us, you're going to get the results as a service, that kind of concept of you just name what you want and we work with you until you get that. And you have a partner that you can trust to know whatever it is, you have a real human that you can reach at any time. You're not going to be AI'd out of existence where, you just have a chatbot and that's your support. We have real people that are experts in this. And those are the key differentiators. Those are some of the things to look out for. But yeah, I'm really excited about this industry and the direction it's going. We got a lot of customers coming from competitors, which is a great sign.
Well, I want to ask this too, to touch on the orderful aspect of it all, right? It's interesting because I always think that EDI tends to be kind of an afterthought of these type of investments or strategies, right? Like I want to automate my process. I want to do this. It's kind of like you said, kind of get your ducks in order prior. And I hope to add to those remarks that Jimmy just touched on, I want to add EDI to that. Know that if you're having issues with your EDI provider today, doing this is likely going to cause headaches and maybe even worse headaches than you've already experienced before with that provider. So from your perspective, why was it important for you to partner with Orderful to make sure that the headache of the EDI of it all, right? Because I can just imagine, like, I did what you said, Jamie, right? I got my processes down. I wrote it in regular English. I'm ready to go. I'm like, let's do this. And then we hit this nice EDI wall. Why choose Orderful to help propel customers to success?
Orderful has mastered the modern EDI problem. And it is the most flexible, easy to use. It's constantly evolving. And both Orderful customers that want to integrate EDI and other things that are not EDI, or MindCloud customers that say, I have this headache with EDI. Can you help? We can work together and let Orderful do what Orderful is expert at and let MindCloud do what MindCloud is expert at, but do it as a partnership where our customers mutually can get the best in class solution that is a result. And I know from working with your team directly, both from the product team and implementation team, they don't stop until they have a really great product that they're proud of. The team has a lot of integrity and takes pride in their work. So we have the same viewpoint in MindCloud. We all are trying to deliver a product that each one of us is proud of, and we work until we accomplish that with each of our customers. So I'm really excited about the partnership and in the future working together, because it's a headache, and I'm sure API problems is a headache for some of your customers. EDI is a headache for a lot of our customers, and to be able to just say, "Good, we got you covered. Let's go." It's great. It's a great feeling.
Well, and to go back to this wonderful orchestration of it all, it very much feels like, Jamie, you're conducting, you've got all the instruments in the right spot, and we're just here to deliver that sheet music, and make sure everyone knows exactly what they're communicating at the end of the day. And to top it off too, great partner, Jamie, you're going to be hitting the road, I believe, at Sweet World as well. Where can people find you? Where you guys, what different events are you going to be at over the next couple months?
We're right now at the Ignite conference in Anaheim right now. I believe we've got a booth there with 4 of our staff. We're going to be at the Pantheon conference next week. We'll be at Sweet World, obviously. Go to our website at mindcloud.co. There's a big button where you can talk to us, get a quote, get a free demo. There is a free version that anybody can try and play around with. Build your own workflows and test them out. It's free forever. So you can go there. It's right on our website as well. And have fun with it. And if you want us to build workflows for you, reach out, we'll help. But otherwise, we really want to make that tool available for everybody.
Jamie, I want to thank you so much for partnering with us and being such a great advocate of Orderful too. And for our audience, we're going to take a quick break, tell you where we'll be on the road too, and wrap up with a nice integration point as well. If you're looking to actually meet some more members, well, get excited. Of course, we'll continue to highlight those individuals on this show moving forward. But in the meantime, our team is going to be hitting the road and might be coming to a very special event near you. Now, up first, you can catch our team at Sweet World. Yes, not Sweet's good old Sweet World event in Las Vegas from October 6th to the 9th. And you can find us at booth 121 right next to the Sweet Cafe. And if you're looking to schedule a meeting with our team, and reach out to Paul Vasello at the email below. You can reach out to Paul, and we'll of course get that on our books for the event. And we'll actually be on the other side of the country later on in October as well at Dynamics Community Summit from October 19th to the 23rd. I'll be there with Jenna Buckley, of course, to meet people on site. And if you're looking to schedule some time with us as well, you can shoot an email to Jenna at the email below too. And now, everyone, it's time for the integration point. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from today's episode, it's this. Integration isn't about mastering every piece of technology. It's about orchestrating them so that they work together in harmony. Now, what Jamie and MindCloud have done is building a bridge, one that connects systems, automates the tedious, and eliminates costly human errors that derail growth. And they're proving the powerful automation shouldn't be reserved for just tech giants. Instead, it should actually be accessible to every business, regardless of size or technical expertise. That's what we mean here at Orderful when we say it's about democratizing, there we go, technology in today's space. And when you pair that with Orderful's modern EDI platform, the result is obviously transformative. Suddenly, those complex systems become simple, that messy tangle of disconnected tools becomes a unified ecosystem, and your data starts working for you, not against you. And that means more time spent innovating, which we all love, and less time troubleshooting. The integration point here is clear. Technology should serve your business, not the other way around. And by standardizing your systems, embracing automation, and partnering with platforms built for the AI era, you're not just keeping up, you're actually setting the pace. So whether you're building a first automated workflow ever or rethinking your entire data strategy, remember one thing. True integration isn't about adding more tools. It's about creating one seamless flow, and that's where the growth truly begins. Thank you for checking out this Integration Hub episode. Stay tuned for more. We've got some really exciting guests coming up around the corner. Check us out at our local events. And until then, stay connected.
Still relying on legacy EDI? Manual work, costly van providers, and slow onboarding are holding you back. Orderful changes everything. Onboard trading partners 10 times faster, automate every transaction, solve production issues in seconds, and stay compliant across all your trading partners. Connect once, trade with the world. Go live in under 9 days with pre-built connections and real-time validation. With built-in support for leading ERPs and systems of record, Orderful fits seamlessly into your existing tech stack. Orderful is #1 in time to value for EDI. Orderful supports all core EDI documents across your supply chain, from order to cash, procure to pay, and logistics to warehousing, and with no hidden fees, ever. Whether you're upgrading your ERP, clearing a trading partner backlog, or done with the cost and complexity of legacy EDI, Orderful helps you move faster with zero surprises and complete control. The EDI infrastructure of the future, available today. Built for change, ready for growth.